What's up, friends? Welcome into Rock Chalk Sports here on KansasNation.com and ESPN Kansas City with Dan Courtwright. I'm Sean Kellerman, Elijah Schmidt running the operations as always today here in the Kansas Nation studios, state-of-the-art studios on Mass Street. Next time you're downtown Lawrence, stroll on by, take a peek in, and perhaps you'll see us through the glass doors. But excited to be back on air after a little bit of a brief time away for Christmas, which we're going to get into. I got to hear some Christmas stories, some horror stories from Dan's sleeping arrangements in the Gateway City. But we'll break that down. Hope everybody had a great holiday, and we'll talk about why I'm depressed.
And Merry Christmas to everybody. We're just really early for next year. How about that?
Yes. And also Happy New Year, something that I'm going to say for the next couple months.
It's Happy New Year all the way into March.
We are going to we're going to have shows today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. No show Thursday, and also no show on Friday here, Rock Chalk Sports. So Wednesday we will be previewing KU and UCF. Back to the action as the Jayhawks and the Knights will open Big 12 play on Saturday down by Disney World. Next segment, we are going to bring on Kevin Flaherty from the Kansas City Sports Network. Kevin didn't have on last week as he sent over Nicholas J. Springer in studio, but via Zoom, Kevin will join us here in a little bit. Talk about KU closing out the non-conference season. Yes, that was about a week ago, but it's the most recent game, and we're just kind of in this stretch. So we'll get Kevin's thoughts on the non-conference finale against Davidson, the win against Towson, overall how he feels about a 10-3 Jayhawks team, and perhaps he has some input on the health of Darren Peterson and where this Kansas basketball team is heading into conference play. Following that, we're talking Chiefs football, a spirited effort, I guess you could say. They found a way to lose, and now they're in the top 10 in terms of draft position. But they kind of looked like they tried.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a case of Mondays for me because the line opened up at 12.5. I think I got it at 13.5. Chiefs were an underdog. And I said, oh, well, the Chiefs are going to get their teeth kicked in. And they didn't, and they still lost.
Yeah,
so
right.
Double bad for old Danny Courtwright.
Yeah, Chris Oladokin, bless his heart, but kind of proving that you can't just have anybody out there.
That's what you say when someone sucks.
You can't just have anybody out there as an NFL
Chris
quarterback.
Oladokin, bless his heart.
Yeah. Well,
he tries hard. That's what you say. Whenever somebody's terrible at their job, you go, well, they tried. They tried really hard.
Big heart.
Big heart. Yeah, big heart is another good one.
We'll talk a little bit of Chiefs football. Of course, you're, I assume, in the same position I am of just wanting the season to end, right?
Yeah.
Let's get to next season.
JETS, just in the season.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of which, they are probably at the bottom of the barrel in the National Football League. Of course, there's always the Raiders, unless the Raiders beat the Chiefs.
How many people do you think actually watched the New York Giants versus the Las Vegas Raiders on Sunday?
2-13 teams.
I didn't watch it.
Giants are ruining the day that they won that game.
I know. They certainly are.
So now what? Are the Raiders number one spot?
I think so. I believe they are in the number one spot. The Raiders might be like 3 or 4 now.
The Giants?
Or the Giants, excuse me.
Yeah, because the Jets have 3 wins also.
Yeah.
Classic Giants and Jets. But anyway, we'll give you a little look at the NFL playoff picture as well. Tonight, Monday Night Football, Rams, Falcons. We're going to have game picks for that a little bit later. Of course, the Rams are in good position. I mean, look at the NFC West. Loaded. Yeah. Incredible game last night. I didn't see any of it. I was playing with Ava, but I know that it was a back-and-forth affair between the Bears and the Niners. Apparently, two of the class franchises right now in the NFL.
I thought both of them were – we were talking about this off-air. We were completely wrong about everything. We thought the Ravens were going to be good. We thought the Lions were going to be good. We thought the Chiefs were going to be good. I thought the 49ers and the Bears and the Jags were all going to suck. Yeah. And those 3 teams are really good.
Still, we were right about the Jets.
Of course. And the Jets and the Raiders did manage to sneak their way onto this week's Case of the Mondays.
Yeah, more on that in a little bit. We will have our Case of the Mondays segment here in the 5 o'clock hour. And then after that, going to do a KU football position grade breakdown. Dan did this a couple weeks ago. Of course, the hustle and bustle of the holidays has set us back a little bit. But I know that Dan broke down the quarterback position from a grade standpoint. And now we're going to do running backs, and it's a little bit tricky, and we'll get Kevin's thoughts on this as well regarding, an outlook for next year, right? Like, you can't really do it like you used to in college athletics where you say, how do you feel about the team? How do you feel about the roster? You don't know. And even after the portal opens January 2nd and the portal ends at the end of next month, you're you're going to give, I guess, more of an educated guess, but you're still not going to be able to look, oh, well, Devontae Graham's going to be a junior, and you just don't really know. But we will at least talk about the 2025 performances of some of the running backs, and we'll hear why Dan thinks that Justin Thurman is going to be the guy in the backfield for 2026. And then we're doing some Monday Night Football game picks, like I said, Rams, Falcons to close out the show, and update you on some other action going on this upcoming week in KU athletics as we sort of turn the calendar to 2026. Dan, tell us a little bit about your Christmas. Of course, we were on air Christmas Eve, and got to wear our fun festive stuff, and I can talk about my depression, but I know that you were heading to the Gateway City to spend some time with family.
I was, yes. So my fiance's sister lives out in St. Louis, actually Festus, Missouri. Shout out.
Wow.
It's like it's pretty much like, I don't know, I guess DeSoto to Kansas City, pretty much. It's in the metro, I would say. But yeah, we went out there, spent some time with her fiance, or with my fiance's sister and her husband. My fiance's parents came out there as well. Had a great time. First day we did nothing there. So, and by the way, I do. They're all great. I do love spending time with them, but it was just a nightmare situation because their television. They have a brand new dog. His name is Shadow, and he's an American bully. He's built like a cube of tungsten. He's dense, and he's short, and he's muscular, and he just wreaks havoc on everything. And we took our 2 dogs as well. So they have 2 dogs. We have 2 dogs.
Like a great time.
They were a nightmare together.
Sure.
It was horrible. The whole time we were like trying to separate them, and they were just knocking over furniture, and it was a disaster. And their dog, right like the day before we got there, ate their remote. So their television, it has one button. Okay. And the only thing that it would play was Storage Wars. So all we watched the entire time was so they have a TV downstairs in the basement.
Yeah,
I don't know why we didn't use that.
Right.
Everybody
would have been smart.
Like, we were like, hey, there's a TV downstairs, and they're like, but we're just so comfortable up here.
Right.
And so we were watching Storage Wars to the point where they were replaying the shows that we had already seen earlier in the day.
Man.
So I was like, I saw this episode 6 hours ago. We've already seen this. And we were just watching it. By the way, nobody's ever watched Storage Wars before. They're not Storage Wars people. They've never watched Storage Wars before. I've never watched Storage Wars before, but I got into it because that's all I could do.
Yeah, that was your only option.
Yeah, I tried playing on my phone, but then at some point I was like, I guess I'll see how much scrap metal they'll get from this old shopping cart or whatever. So that sucked. And then the bed that I was sleeping in at their house, I'm relatively certain that the company that made this bed was conspiring against anybody who bought it because it was the most uncomfortable bed I think I've ever slept in my life. It was
and you had 4 nights in it.
I spent 4 nights in it. It was a step above a bed of nails, I would say. Yeah. So it wasn't that bad, but it was just one step above a bed of nails. It was the worst bed I've ever slept in my life.
And did you tell your hosts that on the way out?
Yeah, I did.
Did you mention it throughout?
Yeah, I said, your bed sucks. And they said, we know. I said, well, you know. Why'd you put me in it?
Did you consider the floor, or was it hardwood floors?
It was hardwood floors. There was a carpet, and I really did consider it.
Yeah.
We made a little bed for our 2 dogs.
I'm sure that they obliged.
We laid some blankets down on the floor, and I was like, I'm about to put my dog in this bed, and I'm about to sleep on this makeshift blanket on a hardwood floor because that feels like it would be more comfortable. It was horrible. I might have gotten 3 hours of sleep over the course of 4 days.
No way. That's an exaggeration.
Sure. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic, but it still was not great. So it was not great. And also, let's see, what else happened?
What'd you guys eat? What'd you guys drink?
So had spaghetti one night. Had chicken breasts another night, which was good. And then we went out a third night. Went out to eat a little bit. Went to the casino, by the way. Nice. That was nice. So
what'd you lose?
My fiance, so my fiance and her sister and her mom all went to this movie called Housemaids, or The Housemaid or something.
Okay.
And we're like, oh yeah, we'll go to a movie. And they said, no, there's too much smut in it. And they thought it'd be weird seeing it with their dad. So they're like, you guys just go to the casino.
Okay.
So me and her sister's
Good.
husband.
You need some time away.
Yeah, and it was nice. And her dad, we all went to the casino, and I lost $100 in about 4.5 minutes.
Yeah, playing blackjack.
Yes.
That's why you don't only put down $100, and that's why you don't play blackjack.
That's the thing. By the way, I love
I've
black.
told you this before. You can't only put down $100. You're not giving yourself a chance unless it's like a $3 table.
It gets worse. I only had $100 in cash in my pocket. They have an ATM there, obviously, but it's like a $9 charge.
Wait, they have an ATM at the casinos?
Yes. So I went to go to the ATM. I put my card in, took it out, and then immediately I get a call from my bank saying that they've shut down my card.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, no, that was me. And they're like, okay, we'll try it again. I tried it again. Immediately, another call from my bank. And they said, we think that your card chip is broken, so you won't be able to use your card for the rest of the time.
Awesome.
So now I just lost my only cash in my pocket.
You don't get to gamble anymore.
I don't get to gamble anymore. I had to spend 3 more hours at this casino with no money, just wandering around drinking their free pop.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's awful.
And yeah, it was terrible. And I was cash. I had no money to use. It was just a whole whirlwind of just terrible. But it was Christmas, so I couldn't be too. I raked it in. You know, I got some nice stuff. I got a lot of a bath stuff. Which again, that goes back to the stuff we don't want for Christmas. Because I was like, oh. Look at this. Oh, it's body wash. Oh, it's cologne. Oh, it's deodorant. I was like, do I stink?
It's all practical.
No, I understand. And I was actually really appreciative of it because it was nice. So I got a lot of that stuff. I got a pair of socks, which was nice. I got a level, which actually needed, like one of those. So that was that was cool. But a lot of bath related, hygiene related. Things, which was nice. But
who gave those to you? Your fiance?
So we did gift exchange. So my fiance's sister's husband had me.
Okay.
And I had my fiance's sister.
Okay.
So I got her a bunch of stuff.
Was it just the 4 of you in the exchange?
No, and then the parents were there too.
Okay. Yeah.
So and they were the ones they gave me. Let's see, they gave me the pair of socks. They gave me like a utility knife, like an X-Acto knife, which actually nice. I needed one for some stuff around the house. But it wasn't horrible. Just I slept. I lost all my money. I only watched Storage Wars. Excuse me, I didn't sleep. I lost all my money, and I only watched Storage Wars, and then.
That is
the only time we ever went.
Some of the craziest.
The only time we ever went downstairs was to watch the Chiefs game, and they lost.
Right. Well, yeah, and again, I am really struggling Chiefs-wise, and we can get into this later, but I'm really struggling getting out of the mindset of why are we doing this? Because for 10 years you were playing for something.
It's hard
and then you watch, again, bless their hearts, but you watch the Browns fans be so excited about beating the Steelers yesterday, and it's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, I mean, you want to win, everybody, and that's the thing, is everybody's a competitor, but I'm really struggling with the Chiefs' 10 years of dominance,
right?
And always having a game mean something.
Which, we grew up in the Tyler Thigpen,
right? And I can't, but I'm struggling getting back to that mindset.
That's the thing.
That's what I did.
Everybody
you
always
watch
says
the Chiefs
that
because that's what you do. But then, the Titans game last week, I'm like, are we even going to watch this? And maybe that makes me a bad fan. It probably does, and I'll get it back. Hopefully the Chiefs have more to play for.
I'll reluctantly
in the future.
Watch. I'll watch.
But I'm like,
I
guess you have it on because it's Sunday and you watch football.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This strange deal.
How was your Christmas?
It was good. It was good. Didn't sleep a lot, as you can imagine.
Sure.
Scuffling a little bit with, the newborn and trying to get some sort of sleep schedule. But drank a couple beers. We had some winter Christmas beers with my brother. And
nice.
Sister had a couple nights at my parents' house. And it's great. My parents have 12 grandkids, including
my goodness,
including my 2 daughters. And
12 grandkids is a lot.
Yeah, it is.
That's it.
And they all played some and watched. Finally, the day after Christmas, we watched a couple Christmas movies. The Grinch, White Christmas, some of the classics. But
It's a Wonderful Life. Did you watch that?
Did not watch that. I know that's one of your favorites, though.
Yeah,
but
I didn't get to watch it because I was too busy watching Storage Wars.
Right. It is. Christmas is something because we have Christmas morning at our house, with our kids, and then it's like, we decided to go just to my parents and my wife's grandpa has, a small gathering in Eudora also. It's like, guys, this is too much. Like packing kids into the cars and all that. So we're just like, okay, our daughter's not even 3 weeks old yet. We're going to do this. But when you leave to go somewhere, like to go to your parents or whatever, obviously the house is a disaster because you've been opening gifts. So then it's like, we got back after spending a night or two at my parents and it's like, oh my God. Like, and you're bringing home dirty clothes and you already had dirty clothes and then you got gifts and boxes and bags and wrapping paper and trash and all sorts of stuff. But, so we had the last day or two to clean that up. But it was good. Ava loved her toys and wants to play, and that's been great. I get really sad. You and I were talking about this a little bit when Christmas ends.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's holding me through is – we have New Year's Eve coming up.
Sure.
And that's fun. Going to get together with a few friends that night. You and I have also talked about how New Year's Day is like one of the worst days of the year, strangely enough.
Yeah.
Just
you're always hungover, and then you're like, oh, I need to fix my life.
Yeah.
Like, that's like
totally. Yeah. That's what it is. You got to fix your life. You feel terrible. You start thinking about what you're going to change about your diet. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, that's terrible. I made awful decisions. What a terrible way to start the year. I'm going to be different in 2026. And you're just tired. Plus, you have the probably worst month of the year coming up.
January's horrible.
I mean, what's worse than January?
Well, Big 12 play starts.
Yeah.
And then you also have college football playoffs.
You do have, yes, and
NFL
that's great.
playoffs.
And that's great. There are months that have, pretty much every month has positives about it.
Sure.
And those would be the positives about January. But I don't know if there's a worse month.
January sucks.
Than January. You do have NFL playoffs. Again, so there's stuff, but it just seems like it's so long.
Well, and also you get depressed about halfway through January because your New Year's resolution is out the window, and then you just feel like a failure.
Right, and it's like January 16th, and you're thinking, this is the longest month ever. How is it still going on? Because you can get excited. February is a shorter month, and then you got March Madness, and then you got spring, and then you got better weather, and then you got impending vacations over the summer. All sorts of stuff. Again. And football's still going on. There's that. But, God, it feels like it was worse when we were in school, though. When we were in school and you had to go back on, like, January 3rd or 4th.
I always loved – because I always loved – I don't know. I'm a social creature at heart. I always loved going back and seeing my friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That gave me something to look forward to. Now you're just like, oh, that's –
But what did you like more, going back and seeing your friends after the break or – May 22nd when it's signing yearbooks day and you get summer in front of you.
Yeah, no, that's the best.
Yeah, that's the best. But anyway, so I get kind of sad when Christmas ends because you only have so many. Like my dad's 60 something, and I'm like, man, he's had a long life and he's only had 60 something Christmases. It's like it's just such a special day, such a special time.
And you've had what?
55? Yeah. It's one of those things where you wish it could last a little bit longer, but definitely cherish the moments that you have.
Well, I'm doing my family's Christmas is tonight. So the holiday season is still for the Courtright household.
So my wife's family Christmas is actually Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
After the UCF game.
You still got stuff.
Isn't it great? People do like their holiday parties on like January 27th.
Oh, I know.
Because there's just no time in the schedule.
We used to always do my family Christmas January 6th. And I'm actually having we're having our own Christmas party on December 31st.
I can't make it.
It's still there.
I can't make it.
You want to come?
Nope.
Fair enough. I will say this. Something that I noticed, my sister has 2 kids, just like you. Mm-hmm. And with her first kid, it was, relatively easy for her. She just throw them in a car seat, toss them in the car, and they can leave. Ever since she had 2 kids, I've not seen her out of the confines of her own house since that second child was born. Yeah. Because
how old is the second child?
The hassle of 1-ish. Yeah. The hassle of her other kid is about the same age as Ava.
Yeah.
So they're at he's at running age.
Yeah.
He likes to run around and be chased.
Totally.
And they just cannot wrangle him up. And it's just impossible for her to get both kids in the car. That in itself, it's like
I'm
a
telling
whole.
You, man.
Is that what you're dealing with right now? I mean, I guess
absolutely.
Obviously, your second born is not at walking or running age, so you can corral her relatively easy, unless she's way ahead of pace.
No. That would be impressive though.
Wouldn't it?
At just shy of 3 weeks. It's I can't imagine. My parents had 6 kids, man.
Oh,
6. And they had their 6th by the time they were in their mid-30s.
Are you the youngest?
And it's like, yeah. I was like, oh my God, how did you do this? But like right now, we're surviving by doing a man-to-man defense. You know, and you know, you might need to 2-on-1, and then, I know, but it's just not possible. But you know, if we were to have a third in the future, then it's like, then you're really, what am I going to do here? Because at least you can go man to man, and we're even struggling with that. But yeah, you got to get him in the car seat and just the bags, man. And nothing will be as busy and crowded as Christmas, right? With all the gifts and all that. But the bags, like you got the diaper bag, and then then you got the blankets and the coats and the shoes. And then you have to pack your stuff, and then giving them the baths. Like we ended up on Christmas Day having to give both girls a bath, and it was like, oh my God, this. And then it's just it's respect to all the parents out there, because it's a lot, but we are enjoying every second, and it's all totally worth it.
I have another question for you.
Yeah.
Since you've had children, because this is something that I deal with, any of my friends who have kids, if I'm ever getting them, my sister is probably more so like this. I only get her kids stuff. I don't ever, I can't remember the last time I got my sister an actual present for herself. Right. It's always like, hey, what do you want? And then she'll send me a list of things for her kids. Right. Are you dealing with this? Do you only get children's like toys or diapers or something along those lines? Like when's the last time you got a present for yourself? It does get tricky. What we do on my side of the family, because I have 5 siblings and they all have spouses, is we just do a Secret Santa. And they all have kids too, right? So I had my sister-in-law Kristen. Nice. My brother Andrew had me. Got me a nice pair of Adidas running shoes. Ooh. Shout out. Hey. And a 6-pack of hot sauce, assorted hot sauce. Ooh, isn't that great? You like that? That's awesome. Nice. So that's easy. It's like everybody has somebody. And then for Caitlin's family, she's got a couple brothers, a couple in-laws, so a little bit of a smaller, but we do 3 kings. I don't think I've ever told you about this. 3 kings. So I still have to wrap them. That's right, Teresa. I've not wrapped those gifts. Have you gotten your myrrh yet? My myrrh? No. No myrrh, no gold, just no frankincense. You just got the frankincense? They're having a deal right now at Bath & Body Works, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'll pick up some body wash while I'm over there. Myrrh's a little harder to find. But the 3 kings is you get each person, so there's like 21 gifts, 7 of us. Jeez. Each person gets 1 gift that you would want, 1 gift that anybody would want, and 1 gift that nobody would want. Oh, that's fun. So you can get like I don't know, this is lame, but like a roll of toilet paper as a gift that nobody would want. And are you kidding me? That's something I need. Right. But obviously everything's wrapped, so you unwrap it, you get a roll of toilet paper, and then, you can steal gifts. Nobody's going to steal that. Right. You might, it sounds like. Yeah. But then it's great because then somebody just gets screwed because then you end up somehow getting, and then you finally open an awesome gift and then somebody can steal it. Of course. So it's just kind of a fun. So that's how we kind of get around having to buy the siblings, because yes, for the most part, everybody's buying all the kids' gifts. So it's like White Elephant almost on steroids. Kind of, yeah. Okay. Yeah, but there's the nice little element of a gift that nobody wants. Sure. Or 7 in this case. We're doing a White Elephant on the 31st, and for the White Elephant, I bought a T-shirt that says, I went to a White Elephant party and all I got was a stupid T-shirt. Yeah, that's good. Isn't that great? That's good. Yes, I am, Piper, I'm mad at you for not inviting me on the 31st. Yeah, I just invited you. I mean, what just happened? It's the 29th. I just invited you. The 29th. And I get an on-air It's at my friend's house who lives right next to you. Even better. Go next door. Man, swing taking the dagger and just twisting it. You can just carry the kids over there. I can't make it. Anyway, we are going to talk sports here on Rock Chalk Sports. Next segment, we are going to be joined by Kevin Flaherty. Wait, you didn't tell me what you got. Kansas City Sports Network. Dude, I got all sorts of great stuff. What did you get? Did you already tell me? Yeah, I got a level and a bunch of I got this bath crew neck from my wife. That one? A couple new Gatorade bottles. Oh, yeah, I saw your... I got a new backpack as well, which I haven't had the time to walked in with an oil drum with a Gatorade sticker on the side. It is a giant... It's massive. Isn't that nice? It's good, though, because you and I, since we started working here, have not been drinking enough water, man. It's filled with liquor. Not, can't confirm. But we just don't drink enough water here. That's fair. We don't. So I'm like, I just need to fill this up before we go do our show. That's smart. But I got a nice KU shirt. I mean, all sorts of great stuff.
Yeah, it was a great
Fair
Christmas.
enough.
My
I just
wife
got
did awesome.
toiletries, which is
And maybe you need them.
Maybe, and I'm getting a new card in the mail. My bank is sending me one. Oh, I didn't even tell you this.
The gift that keeps on giving.
My card, I just found this out this morning. My card, they're sending me a new card, but the address that they have on it is my old Emporia address.
Oh, my God.
So they're sending it to my old Emporia address.
Are you serious?
So it's going to take like another 10 days to get to me.
The Storage Wars Christmas where the ATM...
Yeah, everything that could go wrong went wrong.
That's great.
But
you had on your bells and whistles.
Like I said, I did have a good time with my future
Christmas.
in-laws.
Yes,
nice.
That's good. Well, we had a great time with all the kids. They wear you out, but it's worth every little smile and giggle to see them open their presents and have a lot of fun. Anyway, we are talking sports. Like I said, Kevin Flaherty, Kansas City Sports Network. After this, you're watching Rock Chalk Sports on KansasNation.com and ESPN Kansas City. Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports here on KansasNation.com, ESPN Kansas City. Great to be joined by Kevin Flaherty via Zoom. First, though, want to shout out Crown Automotive, our first partners here at Kansas Nation. All your car needs at crownautomotive.com. Miles Snare and everybody over there have been great sponsors of Kansas Nation, and really appreciate them. Check them out on South Iowa here in Lawrence. Kevin, great to see you. Thanks again for coming on. Let's talk Christmas first. How was your Christmas? Dan and I just broke down ours. Hope you had a great holiday.
Yeah, it went really well. Went down to Oklahoma for a few days with the in-laws, and the weather was actually nice enough that we were able to build a trailer. We had like the hitch or whatever and built up all the wood around it, and then go fishing, which you don't usually get to do outdoor things like that around Christmas. Then came home and was able to spend Christmas with my family. So it was pretty nice.
Yeah, that's good. I know I took my daughter to the playground on Christmas Eve. I was like, man, I guess I guess we'll do this. I tried to tell her, okay, I know you're 2. This isn't usually how it goes on Christmas. We don't get to play outside and all that, but no, it was fun. And now it's a high of like 13 today. So
that's horrible.
Anyway, Kevin, well, we haven't talked to you in a while, but Towson and Davidson, the last 2 games for KU basketball. We were talking last week on the show. Either of those, for different reasons, could have been trap games for Kansas. Sure. After the emotional NC State game, you go out, you blow the doors off of Towson, and then a kind of a ho-hum time of year where you get one game, Davidson, before Christmas, where at times Kansas has kind of come out lackluster in the final game of the first semester. That didn't happen at all. They went out and beat Davidson. So that's 2 quality mid-major teams that KU really established dominance over without Darren Peterson.
Yeah, and Davidson's a really good shooting team, guys. And so you were talking about sort of the formula for a trap game. You know, Towson was a team that hung with Houston for 30 minutes. I'm not saying that they were a team that was going to beat Kansas, but both of those games had elements where it wouldn't have surprised you to see Kansas give sort of a little bit of a ho-hum performance. And that wasn't the case in either one of those. I thought the defense was really locked in against Davidson. There weren't a whole lot of super great, clean looks that Davidson was able to get. That's not an easy system to defend typically. And I think that that's the encouraging thing about this team as we project them into, January, February, March, and hopefully April, is the fact that defense travels, right? And I feel like we've talked so many times about the fact that this team specifically is going to need for that identity to be built around the defense being there on a night in, night out basis. The scoring is going to come and go a little bit depending on what's going on, but the defense is something that if they can reliably bring that night in and night out, this is going to be a really good basketball team.
Yeah, 100%. And, KU doesn't play until UCF. So it's perfect time of year to kind of assess the non-conference, right? And I want your opinion, I guess, if you could give a grade and a word on kind of how you thought that this non-conference has gone, because there's a number of different storylines that we did not think were going to happen, right? Melvin Council came out and was excellent. Cole Rosario wound up starting the first couple of games, and now he's on the bench, but then he had a great game against Davidson. Your overall thoughts in terms of the expectations you had set before the season, and where you think Kansas, exceeded those expectations, where you think they didn't really meet those expectations for this non-con?
Well, look, if Darren Peterson had played every minute and Kansas had gone 10-3 with the losses being, to Duke at Champions Classic, at North Carolina, and then to UConn at Allen Fieldhouse, I think we would have been like, yeah, that's okay. Like, this is a team that's going to grow into itself, and we wouldn't have been upset with that result. To achieve that with Darren Peterson playing as small a role as he did, I think you have to give it an A. And I don't think that's a biased take. I think where the grade goes down a little bit is what's going on with Darren Peterson, and not to throw any alarm bells or anything like that, because we just don't know, and I'm not sure Bill Self knows if Darren Peterson comes back on this after this extended holiday break, winds up playing through conference schedule like it wasn't anything, he got healed up, he's 100%, then we'll look back at this time and him not playing it and kind of laugh about it. But as it is right now, you have to say, playing largely without Darren Peterson, this team really exceeded expectations. You were able to see multiple guys make sort of star turns. You mentioned Melvin Council, Trey White stepping up. He was a guy that I thought heading into the season was going to be more of a, okay, I'll check the box that I need to check this game. He's been significantly better than that. Flory taking the leap that he's taken from his freshman year to his sophomore year, getting to see Cole Rosario watch the ball drop through late. Marco Jackson kind of finding his way a little bit. I know he hasn't scored the last couple games, but 9 assists, 0 turnovers, I think, over the last 2 games. Jamari McDowell, finding a role, all of those different things. And I know I'm probably forgetting somebody, but and Bryson Tiller, showing up and playing, at a higher level than maybe we had expected. I really do think that this is a team that as a group exceeded expectations. And I think you can kind of go down the line and say, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, they all kind of exceeded expectations along with that. And I wonder, as we get into March, if the Darren Peterson thing does get solved, if it's something that we look back and say, this was really important for this team because a lot of these guys were able to find out who they were without Darren Peterson. And then once it all meshed, they really came together as a team.
And hopefully this is a silly question when we look back on it. But to your point, Kansas individually has had a lot of guys play really well. And as a team, they are meshing together. And this is, talking without Darren Peterson, way better than we thought they would have, particularly when you look at the first game or two without DP. It was like, man, this team offensively is really going to struggle, really needs Darren Peterson. And I think that's going to be true at times, right? They're going to have times where they go in offensive lulls and they're going to need the defense to be the way that they win. But if you just look back at the first 8 minutes of gameplay against Missouri or something, when DP came back, it was a little choppier. Guys were deferring a little bit more. Do you think that there will be an adjustment period and extended adjustment period or anything when Peterson is back? And I say I hope that's silly because he's such a talented guy. You could put him out on any team and they're going to be fine. But there was a little choppiness there. And right now, without him, they're just playing so well. You need him, but still, I think at this point, maybe you have to wonder.
Oh, 100%. I think that Kansas back in, 13, 14, right around there, played differently when Kevin Young was in the game and not in the game. And Kevin Young is not, a Darren Peterson like talent, but he was a guy that made sure that the ball moved and hummed. And so you were trying to figure out who you were with him, who you were without him. And there was a little bit of an adjustment period. I think when you add in somebody that's going to be the absolute fulcrum of your team, that's going to be the talisman, the guy that things are built around, there's naturally going to be an adjustment process there. And I think that when you look at what Darren Peterson does in terms of his ability to create for other people, that's going to be a process too. It's, hey, I need to get the ball to this guy in this spot because that's where he likes it. I need to, when I cut here, this guy is going to be there. And there's going to be an adjustment process to all of that. And so maybe Kansas actually takes a step down for a few games. Like you said, it does take a little bit of an adjustment period, but I think they wind up being a lot better in the long run, obviously, because Darren Peterson is a guy that can go out and win you a game. I mean, you look at that NC State game, before he took himself out, he was probably struggling with that thing for 5 minutes. You can see on the game tape where he's, kind of grabbing at his leg and everything. And he still dropped 17 minutes and he was nowhere, or 17 points, and he was nowhere near 100% and still had that time period in the second half where he kind of carried the offense. And so I think when you have 100% Darren Peterson, yes, it's going to take him time to adjust to the guys. It's going to take the other guys time to adjust to him, but in the end, they'll be a lot better off for it.
Kevin Flaherty, KCSN, joins the show here via Zoom. And Kevin, wanted to ask you, kind of continue on that point, but more specifically on the defensive side of the ball. Because
Sure.
this is one of the best, if not the best, Kansas defense I've seen in maybe the last 10 years. Now, I could be forgetting some teams, obviously, but you look at their first shot defense, their 3-point defense has just been phenomenal. Do you think that is do you think that's an effect of Darren Peterson not being out there? Obviously, Darren Peterson has an incredibly high upside on the defensive end of the ball, but do you see the defensive quality declining once Darren Peterson comes back out there? Because this team's identity really was, okay, well, we don't have DP, so we're going to be really hard on the defensive side of the ball. We're going to guard the perimeter well. We're going to try to rebound as well as we possibly can. Do you see that potentially declining once DP finally gets back out there? Do you see this defense not taking a step down and they just get to essentially add Darren Peterson on that defensive side?
Yeah, I actually think they're going to improve because I think he helps them in the two areas that they haven't been great at. You mentioned the first shot defense. The reason you mention it like that is teams are getting second, third, fourth shot attempts at times. The rebounding hasn't been great. Darren Peterson is a terrific rebounder in general. He's also an outstanding rebounder for his position because he's so big compared to the guards that he's going up against. He hunts rebounds. He helps them in that area. The other area that they don't do super well that he helps them at, he's really good at jumping passing lanes and generating turnovers. And that's kind of been the one thing people look at the rebounding. The actual thing that this defense does the worst right now is they just aren't turning people over.
Yeah.
And I think that that's an area that he's going to help them out in quite a bit. He's going to get those couple steals a game. He's going to jump out and get deflections. He's going to put them in positions to generate more turnovers. And so, no, I actually think he helps them in two areas where maybe they've been a little bit deficient defensively. And I don't think he takes anything off the board in the other areas if he's healthy. Now, against NC State, like we said, he wasn't healthy, gave up a three-pointer. I'm remembering off the top of my head, but where he couldn't quite rally out the way that he would have wanted to be able to get out on that shooter because the legs just weren't cooperating. If you're getting an 80% Darren Peterson, a 75% Darren Peterson, that's maybe where the defense could take a little bit of a step back. But if he's 100% ready to go, then I think he actually helps out this defense in areas that they aren't currently getting a lot of help in.
Yeah, December 13th was the NC State game, and now KU's next game coming up here on Saturday, January 3rd. So, about 3 weeks. It's 3 weeks in between action, and that was when he came out of the game against NC State. I think everybody who follows KU basketball as closely as we do and has followed this team, they knew what was upcoming on the schedule. Like, okay, well, you probably don't need him against Towson. You probably don't need him against Davidson. And with this extended stretch, this could be the time. So hopefully that's the case, as we've got an 18-game conference slate coming up. And we know that this conference is awesome. You got the number one team in the country, a top 5 team in the country, and neither of those teams are Houston. So you've got a lot of really, really good teams. It starts with UCF on Saturday. They can score the ball really well. UCF and TCU, teams that before the season, Kevin, when you look at wanting to win the conference, those are teams you want to beat, right? But it's not going to be easy. And KU lost to UCF a couple years ago. What do you know about the Knights, and what's Kansas going to need to do to take the show on the road, not only at UCF but in an 18-game slate?
Yeah, it's tough coming back from a break, right? Because you're in a situation where you've been off for a really, really long time. And so your chemistry defensively isn't always perfect. The way you move the ball isn't always perfect. The way you shoot the ball isn't always perfect because you've had this really long break. And so, yes, in a lot of ways you're fresh, but outside of that, I think there are a lot of difficulties that come with an extended break like this. And we saw KU, not play super well. Was it against UCF a couple of years ago or whatever, coming off of an extended break? And so that happens sometimes. In this specific case, you're getting a team that, like Davidson, can really shoot the ball from the outside in UCF. But the part that they add that Davidson wasn't as good at, this is a team that's an elite offensive rebounding team. They are terrific at getting offensive boards and long rebounds, etc. And so I think that's an area where Kansas is really going to need to be locked in. You talked about the first shot defense. Kansas is going to need to make sure that the first shot defense is their defense, right? You aren't getting a second shot, a third shot. And so close off possessions and get out when you have a chance and run against that defense if you can. If you can get the ball off the glass, start the break, if you can generate the odd turnover, make things a little bit easier for your offense than operating against a half-court defense. And I really do think that this is a chance for Kansas to come out and sort of stake its claim as, okay, we're not taking a step back. You'd love to see, obviously, Darren Peterson out there at 100% and see him having a good game. But defensive rebounding, I think, and then getting out into transition would carry them a long way in this one.
Yeah, 100%. Kevin Flaherty, KCSN, Pay Heat Podcast, and the Verbal Commitment Podcast joins us here via Zoom. Kevin, wanted to flip it over to football as, transfer portal hasn't opened yet. So we talked about this last week with Nick, and Nick kind of broke it down of like, hey, look, it's all bad right now because Kansas literally can't get anybody. And so it feels like Kansas is just losing 1,000 players and not getting anybody in except for one guy from D2. But we know that's obviously not the case, where Kansas has done a relatively good job at getting talent out of the transfer portal over these last few years. Your overall thoughts in terms of what Kansas needs to do to get what Kansas needs to get out of the portal? What number are you kind of floating around right now? And is there one position where you see Kansas really going heavy on?
Yeah, 20 to 25 is kind of the rough-ish number, and a lot of it depends on, hey, what's out there? Is there a position? Right now I have Kansas maybe getting one defensive end, and a lot of that depends on which defensive end it is. Jaden Woods just entered the transfer portal today, the former 4-star from Mill Valley, right here in Kansas City. I'm not saying that Kansas gets Jaden Woods. I'm just saying if Jaden Woods is there for Kansas to take, yes, they're going to take Jaden Woods. And so that's part of maybe the fungible nature of that number. But I think when you look at by position, Kansas needs to go get running backs, right? When you look at graduating your top 2, you lose another 2 in the portal. So, and you bring in 1. So that would leave, if you're just looking at the same numbers as last year, that would leave 3 guys. Offensive line, you lose 3 starters, you lose a 4th guy in Nolan Gorska, you lose 2 guys to transfer, you bring in 3, that's another 3 guys. Defensive tackle, they already brought in 1 guy, like you mentioned, Jabril Conde. They may bring in another 2 to 3 guys. Linebacker, 2 to 3 guys. And the one that I think is really interesting, guys, is because I feel like people aren't talking about it as much, is safety. Because you lost both Dye brothers to graduation.
Yeah.
You lost 2 guys to transfer. That's 4 guys. You didn't bring in any in your recruiting class. Both of the defensive backs that they brought in this class, at least on signing day, were earmarked as cornerbacks. And so could one of those guys move over and maybe change the numbers a little bit? Sure. But as of right now, you're 4 safeties down from where you were a year ago. And so I'm interested to see how they attack that position, because obviously the main thing that a transfer is looking for, I know a lot of people will say it's money, but the main thing they're looking for is opportunity, right? And so if you're bringing in 3 safety transfers, how do you convince the 4th guy to come in that he's going to have a legitimate opportunity to win that spot? And so, 20 to 25, that's not including, if they wind up going out and getting like a kicker for Lath Marjan or something like that. But I think that's a pretty solid number or base to build from. And those are some of the position groups that they're probably likely to really attack.
Yeah. And we, don't know for sure until the second and the days after exactly who's going to go in there, but obviously word of an important quarterback who could be going into the portal. Quarterback's so interesting because we know that Kansas was so heavily reliant on Jalen Daniels in more than one way, but assuming you have Zeke Marshall and Cole Ballard back, what's your confidence level in kind of those guys being your 1-2 at the quarterback position? Because that's the most vital position in all of team sports, and you got to be good there. And we've seen some good things from both those guys in their brief time at KU so far.
Well, if David McComb does stay in the portal, if he does enter the portal because it hasn't opened yet, then you do have to bring in a quarterback transfer, I think. I don't think that Kansas at that point would be swinging for some of the high-level guys, which is a good thing because reports are coming out that a high-level quarterback in the portal guys is going to cost $5 to $6 million.
Yeah.
And that's just not something that Kansas is going to be able to do with the other needs that they have. And so I do think that there's a reasonable expectation that it could come from Cole Ballard and Zeke Marshall. Maybe you bring in a guy, I'm blanking on the kid's name, maybe Robert, it wasn't Roberson, the kid that K-State brought in a couple years ago.
Yeah,
where
From UConn, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. From UConn, when you knew Avery Johnson was going to be your guy, but you also knew that, hey, we need another quarterback in our room. And so you bring in a guy that does have some experience that can make your room a little bit better, that you felt like if Avery Johnson got hurt, you would have that guy there. I think you bring in somebody like that if McComb does stay in or does enter the portal. If McComb decides to come back, then I think you're set. I don't think you look at quarterback at all. It's going to be one of those three guys. And they like what they have in the quarterback room. We were there on signing day when Lance Leipold basically said just that. Hey, we like our room. We're probably not going to go into the portal to find a guy. If they need to get a guy, I think it's going to be a numbers guy. I don't think they're going to be throwing seven figures out looking for the next starter. And so I do think that it's likely that starter next year, even if McComb does go into the portal, that it's going to be one of Cole Ballard or Zeke Marshall at this point.
And one more question for you, Kevin, before we get you out of here. I know last time we talked, I asked you about this class of 26, if there were any guys who you thought were going to make an impact. I want to talk about the class of 25, the guys who are already on campus for this year, either redshirted or not or whatever. You have guys like Tate Nagy and Cheese Hammond, everybody's super high on. Is there one guy that maybe everybody keeps on forgetting that you think is really going to kind of emerge and be one of those star type caliber guys in their second year here in the University of Kansas?
I loved Adrian Hawley coming out. I know he was the highest ranked guy in that class, but he was for a reason, right? When you look at the frame, the athletic ability that he had with that, and the kid's got a great work ethic, and he's a good kid too. And I think he's all the things that coaches really want from a player from that standpoint. Obviously KU's got some pretty good young defensive ends. And so he's going to have to work his way into that rotation. When you look at Dak Brinkley likely coming back, again, there's still a few days for guys to enter the portal, so we don't 100% know. When you look at Leroy Harris, it seemed like he sent out a post on social media that would indicate that he's going to be back. But Adrian Hawley is a guy that I really like. I think when you look at Malachi Curvey, is another guy at linebacker. And we saw him make a big play on special teams. And he's somebody that when you look at that linebacker group and the losses that they have, I would not be a bit surprised if he's in that rotation as a redshirt freshman. I think he's got that kind of ability. Chris McCorkle has a lot of ability. And then I know he's announced his intentions to go into that portal, but if he does decide to return, a guy like David McComb was somebody that I was so high on and think that he would obviously be in that quarterback competition. But there was one other guy too. We saw him have just a huge carry that got called back, unfortunately. I'm a Justin Thurman guy. I really think
join the club. Let's go.
I think that when you look at the vision and his ability to find the cutback lane, I think it really works well with the type of team that Kansas could have this year, because whoever's at quarterback, Lance Leipold said, we don't want that guy running the ball 20, 30 times a game as a quarterback. And so I think they're going to try and run the ball around that guy and help him out. I think that Justin Thurman's a guy that's going to likely be in that rotation and could help them out sooner rather than later.
Wow, yeah, a lot of good names, honestly, and guys that, as much as we talk about the incoming class or player X who might come over from the transfer portal, a lot of these guys who were freshmen or first-year players this past season are guys that we're going to be bringing into the light here coming forward to 2026, because they're going to have a much bigger impact in the immediate future. Kevin, always appreciate your time. Great stuff with the Kansas City Sports Network. Keep it up, and we'll chat soon.
Thanks a lot, guys.
All right. Kevin Flaherty joins us here on Zoom. More coming up on Rock Chalk Sports, ESPN Kansas City and KansasNation.com. Welcome back to Rock Chalk Sports, KansasNation.com and ESPN Kansas City. I want to tell you about Game Day Men's Health Lawrence in West Lawrence. Mitch Bales and his team over there will take care of everything you need. As we get older, we experience some things that, frankly, aren't ideal, right? We have low T. A lot of men across the world experience low T. In fact, I believe the number in talking to Mitch is 60% or so by the time they turn the age of 40.
50% of men over 40 and 60% of men at any time in their life experience some form of erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, so they can help you out over at Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. There's a 3-step process. They'll do a blood draw, and the first visit is complimentary. So, again, if you're experiencing low T, fatigue, not having the energy to be a dad, to go to the gym, to go to work, then check them out. It's a full-fledged medical clinic. They make you feel comfortable, too. It's a plush man cave-like setting. Get over and tell them the guys at Rock Chalk Sports Kansas Nation sent you. And, we're just excited about that partnership. Game Day Men's Health Lawrence in West Lawrence. All right, Dan, I'll let you break this down talking Chiefs football. We talked about it a little bit, but, didn't have a lot of guys. It was great seeing Travis Kelce and Chris Jones out there. Chris Oladokun got the call. He's 28-year-old. I would even call him a journeyman. He's just been trying to make his way. So you feel good for a guy like that.
He's been with the Chiefs the whole time.
He has, practice squad. Yeah. And he got to go to the podium, which I thought was hilarious.
He sounds a lot
like. It was insane. I was sitting there watching the podium with my parents, and I was like, oh, my God. He sounds just like Mahomes.
Exactly. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Like, surely people have noticed that before.
Well, because Patrick Mahomes has such an interesting and unique voice that I've never heard before. And then you have another quarterback who sounds exactly like him.
A backup quarterback.
That was a little jarring.
It was crazy, yeah. So Oladokun was fine, I thought. He didn't make a lot of mistakes. It's just proof that you can't just be anybody and go out and perform. Not even just like Patrick Mahomes, but like a top-tier NFL quarterback. As the Chiefs lose 20-13 to the Broncos, Chiefs are 6-10. Should have a top 10 pick, we think, in the NFL draft, but it's going to depend on a few things in Week 18. The big thing, and I said this to my wife yesterday, actually, as I was kind of scrolling on social media, I was like, while very upsetting that Patrick Mahomes has the injury, and we hope that he's back, I should say, by Week 1. It was kind of nice, I guess, if this is the end of the line for Travis Kelce, that he got that extra spotlight on him.
Oh, for sure.
Right? The cameras were always on him. He got to spend the extended time at the podium, and he was kind of the guy front and center of the Chiefs' final home game of 2025. We don't know if he'll be back. I hope that he's back for one more year, and I hope that he says he's going to come back for one more year specifically, so that there's not this constant questioning on if it's last year. I don't think he's the type of guy who wants the Mariano Rivera treatment or whatever it is for the victory
Coach
lap.
K,
if
I
you will.
think
the Coach K thing is the worst.
The Coach K thing was maybe the worst thing I've ever seen.
But
in my
you'd
life.
like to see Kelce end on a higher note than this in terms of the team's success. But anyway, it was nice that he kind of got, because he's made such a big impact on the Chiefs. And these last 2 games, the only 2 games in his career where the Chiefs are playing a football game out of playoff contention, has done so much for the franchise. But your thoughts, 20-13 loss to the Broncos, anything that you liked in kind of this awkward period of time we are in the NFL where you're seeing a lot of backups for a lot of teams?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I never thought I'd say this, but I am glad that the Chiefs wound up losing that game, because I think that sets the Chiefs up better in the NFL draft, right? I mean, there's a couple of names that are floating around right now for the Chiefs to potentially draft somebody, most notably Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame. He's floating right around that 10, 11, 12 spot, and that's where the Chiefs are, right? So I think teams understand what's happening with the Chiefs, and they don't want to see the Chiefs come back and continue it. So I think that teams are going to pick what they need, but also they're going to try to take some guys that I think the Chiefs are going to want as well, right? There's that tight end coming out of Miami who the Chiefs are really high on, and the Chiefs are going to need a tight end, right? Because Noah Gray is good, right? And you also have Wiley at a TCU who has shown flashes at times. But you're really gonna need a tight end, especially if this is Travis Kelce's last year, which I would assume that it is.
And
so,
Noah Gray is going to be 27 by the start of next year.
That's right. So, and look, you can trade him away for either some draft capital or maybe some younger players at different positions, something like that. It's always good to have a guy learning under who is one of, if not the best tight end of all time, right? So obviously there's the Jimmy Garoppolo, Matt Castle aspect of that, where he learned under Travis Kelce, and teams are really going to be interested in something like that. So it all in all is good. I think that they lost this game, but look, I thought the Chiefs on the defensive side of the ball, I think that they might have gotten their mojo back. I thought that they looked really good on the defensive side of the ball. The Denver team, they ran the ball a little bit. They had 32 rushes for 128 yards. So the Chiefs held them under 130 on the ground, which is really impressive. They held Bo Nix under 200. He only had 182 yards on this game, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. The interception was weird, and it wasn't Bo Nix's fault, but still they got an interception. So defense really was able to step up in this game against a really hot Denver Broncos team who, they're fighting right now. I don't know if they're officially out of the 1 seed as of right now. I know they were floating around there for quite a while. I know they did wind up locking in the AFC West, so they're automatically in the playoffs. But right now they're floating around, maybe the wild card, maybe the 1 seed, maybe the 2 seed, somewhere around there. I really liked what I saw to Chris Oladukin, though. I mean, he went 13 of 22. 66 yards. He had a touchdown to Brashad Smith, which I'm going to get into Brashad Smith. I like him a lot. I think that he is such a versatile player because he can return kicks, he can return punts, and he's really good in the pass game. Run game probably needs to be a little bit more patient, and I think needs to get maybe a little bit lower center of gravity whenever he's hitting those holes. But I like Brashad Smith's upside. I think that's a guy that nobody is really talking about. He's the one who had that receiving touchdown from Chris Oladukin. I think he's going to be really good, and if the Chiefs want to move away from Kareem Hunt and if they want to move away from Isaiah Pacheco, I'm not saying that they will. I'm saying that if they were to potentially draft Jeremiah Love, you might be comfortable with the 1-2 punch of Love and Smith, and then you trade Isaiah Pacheco away for some draft capital, and you trade Kareem Hunt or you cut Kareem Hunt or whatever it may be, and you get rid of him because he's getting older, right? He's not going to be the same Kareem Hunt that we once knew and loved. So there is that aspect to it as well. I like Brashad Smith a lot. I think he's got a really high upside. But Chris Oladukin, like I said, Broncos went down. They scored with about 1:45 left to go ahead and take the lead. 1 touchdown lead. It was tied up. He went down and he took it all the way down to the end, man. I mean, there was 20 seconds left when it was 4th and goal, I think, from about the 8-yard line, and just overthrew somebody. But he managed to go on a potential game-winning drive all the way down into the red zone and just wasn't able to finish it off. But you throw a practice squad quarterback in that position, I think 98 times out of 100, they don't even make it past midfield. And Chris Oladukin managed to get them all the way down the field and have a potential touchdown and just wasn't able to finish it there at the end against a very good Broncos team. Right now they're 13-3, 6-2 in away games. I mean, they're a good, solid team, and Chris Oladukin managed to hang in there and battle till the end.
Yeah, he showed exceptional poise, I would say, did Oladukin.
The stats weren't there. The stats weren't good, and we obviously knew that.
They were not there, but again, for a guy who hasn't played a lot of NFL football, really impressive. And I think a lot of Chiefs fans echoed your sentiment, which is like, we wanted to win, but it was Christmas. We wanted a competitive game, and it's okay that we lost.
Yeah.
Because whether the Chiefs do get somebody like Jeremiah Love, because they're going to need a running back. Yeah. You mentioned Hunt and Pacheco. It'll be an age 31 season for Hunt, age 27 season for Pacheco. The Chiefs also probably need a talented guy on the outside at the wide receiver position, right? Yeah. You're very confident in Rashee Rice, but he's not going to be that DK Metcalf type. No, DK Metcalfs don't grow on trees,
right?
Obviously, or A.J. Browns, that sort of thing. But
without the
but
punching,
still,
too.
Yeah, that too. That was quite the scene. But if you don't mind, let's just take a look at the playoff picture. You mentioned the Broncos. Broncos are either going to be the 1 or the 2.
Okay.
Broncos, this is according to ESPN's metrics, 56.2% chance to earn the 1, and the Patriots have a 36.1%. The Jags also could still slip in to be the 1 seed. How crazy is that?
I will say this. I mentioned this off air. I don't know if I mentioned it on air. I have an uncle who lives in Jacksonville, and he's lived like just a terrible life just being a Jacksonville Jaguars fan.
Yeah.
He's got a great life. But just in terms of his NFL fandom, he's also a Chiefs fan too. He's originally from Kansas City, but he likes the Jags, and I'm rooting for him.
Yeah.
I want him to win a Super Bowl.
Well, Liam Cohen, first coach in history to lead a team to a 12-plus win season when that team had 4 or fewer wins the year before. So, yeah, they've done really well. You get the right coach, man. You look at what Ben Johnson's doing in Chicago, it can really turn things around. You get a good quarterback and a good coach, and Trevor Lawrence has been good. I'll give you that.
What was that?
I'll give you that.
One more time? I didn't hear you.
know, now that he's turned 33, he's finally figured it out.
No, just say it one more time.
The Broncos, Patriots, and Jags obviously are in the playoffs, as are the Texans, Bills, and Chargers. The only thing up for grabs is the 4 seed, Ravens, Steelers. How awesome is this, by the way, that there are so many winner-take-all games? And we'll go through the schedule a little bit later, but Bucks, Panthers, winner wins that division. Obviously, Steelers, Ravens, winner wins that division. And then the monster one in the NFC, Seahawks and Niners. That's potentially going to be one of those situations as well. We'll see how Rams-Falcons goes tonight. But anyway, that's the playoff picture in the AFC. The NFC, again, there are multiple teams who really have an opportunity. Seahawks, 49ers, I'm mistaken. That is a win, and you get the 1 seed. Whoever wins that gets the 1 seed. They're both in, but the Rams will not get the 1 seed due to the Niners winning last night. They're eliminated. Gotcha. But the Bears obviously are in. They win the NFC North. The Packers are relegated to the wild card. The Eagles, really impressive performance. Almost blew it at the end to the Bills, but they're in as the champs of the NFC East. And then the Rams are a wild card, as I said, also are the Niners. And then, again, the 4 seed up for grabs. The unsurprising, I don't even know what the word is, but I don't want to say uninteresting. That seems weird. But NFC South seems to always have some mediocre teams. It's going to be Buccaneers and Panthers. But exciting for Week 18.
Panthers,
I mean, you couldn't have drawn it up better, right?
No.
From a scheduling standpoint.
Yeah, there's not going to be a lot of guys who are – I mean, there are going to be some teams who are going to be sitting their guys. But like you said, I mean, everybody's pretty much playing for something, right? So there's not going to be any of the stinkers where, you see the backup quarterback – come in and like we've been so used to where the last couple of games of the season you see Carson Wentz or Chad Henne or whoever start,
and that's how it has been. I mean, you've had just look at the Christmas Day games.
Yeah,
I mean, and then you look at like you had Malik Willis going, and Malik Willis was really good to the point where people are like, man, maybe he should start.
I know,
and then
Matt
LaFleur is going to be like, all right, pump the brakes on this a little bit.
Jordan Love is Jordan Love is
right. Packers have
right
underwhelmed
now,
though recently.
I know, but Jordan Love has looked like a top 6 quarterback.
Yeah,
I'll say.
Yeah, I mean,
I almost don't want to put him in the top 5, but I'll say top 6.
Well, Chiefs game against the Raiders to close out the season is going to be at 3:25. The other games, and this just came out last night following the results of some of the games. Panthers-Bucks is Saturday at 3:30. Again, winner of that wins the NFC South. They go to the playoffs. Seahawks-Niners, winner of that gets the 1 seed and wins the NFC West. That is Saturday at 7, also on ESPN and ABC. And then the other game, which is just a classic Sunday night football game, the one that determines the AFC North, is Ravens at Steelers.
That'll be fun.
So that will be fun. Lamar Jackson, what are we thinking?
He's bad.
I mean, is he? He's bad, and we don't know if he's healthy.
Well, that also too.
Snoop Huntley.
Whenever he's out there, he's been bad.
Yeah, it's been a strange year.
It has been a really
like
really
you were talking about
year.
earlier. We said, I mean, you expect the Giants to be bad, and you expect the Jets to be terrible, and all that. But I mean, Lions. What happened to them this year? How about the fact that early in the season they had that blowout victory over the Bears, and there was much ado about Dan Campbell scoring extra points, running up the score or whatever against Ben Johnson. And Ben Johnson wasn't offended by it by any stretch, but who would have envisioned that the Bears would be 11-5 champs of the NFC North and the Lions are on the outside looking in? Just kind of strange year. But that's NFL football. That's sports. Everything is unpredictable. And the Chiefs, they've got one more shot at it as they head to Sin City. Hopefully they have a good time. Hopefully hopefully they get a win and have a great time in Vegas.
You know what? Yeah. Book the flight for 3 p.m. the next day.
I mean,
how about that?
We joke about that, but you got to think some of the guys are doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going
certainly.
but you're
They're
going
like, hey,
straight.
I'm not flying back.
You're
I'm
going
not flying
straight
back
from
with
Vegas to Cancun. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Cancun is the word. That's where the Chiefs are going to be. Are you hitting the panic button yet on this season for the Chiefs? I know that you. Or do you still think they've got a chance?
Yeah, I'm hitting the panic button. I hit the panic button a while ago.
It just took a 6-10 start and being mathematically eliminated from the playoffs a few weeks ago for you to do it.
Whatever,
dude. We were sitting here at like 5-4, and I'm like,
No,
dude, and you're like, oh no, I'm not hitting the panic button at all. I'm like, dude, we have to face this team and this team and this team, and this guy's hurt and this guy. Yeah.
Okay,
I get it. We have been so spoiled.
When you look back, it's hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes.
I agree, and again,
we just haven't seen this in his entire career.
And more so, I'm thinking of the Titans game rather than the Broncos game. And maybe this is unfair because Minshew got hurt and Oladokin wasn't expecting to play and had just been called up and all that. But it just kind of was eye-opening to me.
Yeah.
Wow, so the Chiefs, this is who they are without Patrick Mahomes. It's not very good.
No.
So, yeah, they've got some major changes that they've got to take care of in the offseason from a roster standpoint. Hey, after this, we are going to have our Case of the Monday segment, but make sure you follow us on socials. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Dan, where else can our fans find us?
Yeah, find us on YouTube. You can watch all of our shows on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe like all of our shows and also subscribe to the channel as well. Facebook, Kansas Nation, Twitter at the Kansas Nation, or X, the everything app, as some people like to call it, at the Kansas Nation, Instagram at the Kansas Nation, TikTok at the Kansas Nation. So be sure to follow us everywhere, like all of our stuff, share it with whoever you think is a big Jayhawk fan. Be sure to share it with them as well. We put a lot of work into the social media aspect of things. Always try to clip out some different fun stuff. And check out all of our other shows as well. Haney and the Hawks, where he talks to KU legends of the past. Also, the Timeout with Tyshawn Taylor podcast. He does that here at the Kansas Nation Studios. The Jayhawker podcast with Nate Bukaty. And I believe, Little Birdie told me, starting this month, we are finally going to get Greg Gurley and Mick Schaefer.
Are we going Between Two Fountains?
Between Two Fountains. I think that's the name of them.
I think they changed it again. I don't remember.
Have they changed it again?
Come on, Greg.
So
let us know.
This has been in the works for like 4 months, and the only reason it hasn't gotten started, I think, is because they're deciding what the name is going to be.
Well, Mick posted on Twitter a couple months ago some potential names for the show. I know that Between Two Fountains was one of them.
Yeah.
I feel like they had – I'm not going to give away any others, but maybe they did change it again.
They had some good ones, man.
We'll see. But, yeah, of course, Haney and the Hawks as well.
Yeah.
Great podcast. Again, Apple Podcast, Spotify, YouTube. All the likes, all the shares, all the subscriptions mean a lot, so appreciate that. Coming up after this, Case of the Mondays on Rock Chalk Sports, KansasNation.com, and ESPN Kansas City. Hey, CrownAutomotive.com, the place to go if you're looking for a new vehicle. You can also visit them on South Iowa in Lawrence. But if you go to CrownAutomotive.com, you can schedule Volkswagen or Toyota service. You can browse new inventory. 5 times Carfax top-rated dealers, Crown Automotive. Appreciate their partnership, Miles Schneier and his crew over at Crown, over in Dan's neck of the woods on South Iowa. And, if you need a new car or perhaps you need something to spice up your 2026, then that's the place to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And they will make sure to get you in the car that fits your lifestyle. It doesn't even have to be a Toyota or a Volkswagen. They have a number of different used cars that you can select from, all really, really great inventory and very easy to work with salespeople as well. As they, like I said, they're gonna fit it for your needs, and they have any car that will fit your lifestyle perfectly. So check them out, Crown Automotive here on South Iowa or CrownAutomotive.com.
Case of the Mondays, Dan. Start us off with a popular Netflix hit.
Yes, Case of the Mondays. I already talked about why I'm having a Case of the Mondays, because of my sleeping arrangement and the dogs and the money and all that different kind of stuff. And then yesterday, during the I didn't watch a lot of NFL football yesterday. I was keeping track of it on my phone. So I wound up watching Stranger Things. Volume 2 had come out over Christmas. Watched a couple episodes, and it stinks. It is so...
Really? Is it the same cast?
Yeah, it's the same cast.
So Millie Bobby Brown.
Yes.
Finn Wolfhard.
Finn Wolfhard, yes.
That one kid.
Noah Schnapp.
Yes.
Yeah,
what's his name?
Winona Ryder is the mom.
Yes. What's the kid's name? Gatlin something.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Gabriel. I think his name. I don't know. I can't remember his name.
Boucher.
No, not Gabe Boucher. For some reason I thought his name was Gabriel or something. I don't know.
It's Gatton.
Look it
Gatton.
Look it up.
Matarazzo. Yes.
Gatton. His real name is Gatton.
Yeah, he's Dustin. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, so they're all 35 years old now, and they're still playing 14-year-olds, which is fun.
That is not true.
Dude, they're so old.
Millie Bobby Brown is 21, though.
Yeah, she's a kid.
Does she really?
Guess
no,
who?
She doesn't.
Yes, she does. With Bon Jovi's son. They're married.
Oh my God, they have a kid?
They're married, and she has a kid.
Wow, good for her.
And she's playing a 14-year-old on a TV show.
Huh. Wow.
Yeah.
That is.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
So yeah, it sucks. Did you ever indulge in Stranger Things at all?
I did, yeah. I don't remember when, but the first season or
it's
two.
fizzled out though. You haven't been keeping up.
It has. I mean, I remember. It absolutely is fizzled out, but that happens to me for a lot of shows.
Sure, that's fair.
Normal reasons, but yeah.
there's a whole formula behind Stranger Things where it's like, how are we going to get out of this impossible situation? And then they go, oh, there's this science thing, and they're like, dumb it down for me. And they use they're like, okay, well, here's us, and here's the Demogorgons, and if we do this, and they're like, yeah, but that'll never make sense. And they're like, but what about this? And then they put another thing, and
don't
they're
act like you
they're
didn't
like,
love it at the start.
oh, it makes no, but that's like, it's overly done, and there's it's a formula to it, and it's not just. Noah Schnapp is maybe the worst actor I've ever seen in my life, who plays Will Byers, the kid who was kidnapped. But the writing is terrible too. The writing is, I swear to you, there's a part in it where they're in the Upside Down and there's red lightning going on. And she was like, I'm trying to remember the exact, it was like, how much did you know about the Vecna guy? And she goes, everything. Except the fact that he was still alive. And it went, and lightning went behind. I was like, what is this, a 1930s Dracula movie?
I can't believe that this show's still going on.
By the way, same episode. It happened twice. Where they're like, what's on the other side of that wall? And he goes, death. And he goes, and lightning goes behind. It's like, are you kidding me? That is the most cheesy, corny, 1950s, stupid monster movie thing I've ever seen in my life. The writing is the worst. They write the pauses into the script. Would be like, and the truth is, and you're like, just it's like, I'm not a movie snob by any means. I think every movie that I watch is the best movie alive, and I'm really not critical of a lot of movies or shows. The back half of season 5 for Stranger Things is dreadful. It is absolutely terrible. And it's almost like they've forgotten a lot of stuff from.
Maybe you're just not following.
I am.
That's what it is. It's tough to follow when you're tracking NFL games on your phone the whole time.
Well, that's also fair, but it was just my fiance can attest to this too, because she was watching it and she was like, "This is the biggest pile of dog turds I've ever seen in my life."
Did she not want to watch Red Zone?
No, she didn't want to watch Red Zone. I know. Bummer. I probably should have just watched NFL games. Honestly,
you get to pick. You get to pick next.
They have a better script. Wait, are you gonna pick on this?
What? No, I'm saying you get to pick next on what you guys watch.
Right. Yeah. Case of the Mondays for the Oakland/LA/Las Vegas Raiders.
The LA Raiders.
So there's some weird stuff going on with Max Crosby right now. So Max Crosby apparently left the team's facility due to a disagreement over his playing status for the team's 2 final regular season games. He claims that he is healthy. The Raiders said, no, we're going to shut you down for the rest of the season because we are trying to tank.
They didn't say that. They said, we just feel it's in the best interest.
Yeah, but it was highly implied that, hey, we're tanking right now. Max Crosby said, no way, that's horrible, and I hate that so much. Why are you doing this to me? I want to play. And they said, no, we're going to go ahead and shut you down. He was actually asked earlier in the week. He said he doesn't care about the number 1 pick. He doesn't want to tank the rest of the season. He said, I do not play this way. And then right after he said, I don't want to tank, I want to win, that's when the Raiders shut him down. So they apparently, quote, vehemently disagreed on the Raiders' decision to shut him down. So Will we see Max Crosby in a different jersey next year?
So how old is he? I mean, because he's had a really good career.
He's probably
been
29.
Stuck. Okay.
That's
28.
good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's 28 years old.
I mean, so he's got a few years.
I mean, he still looks really good.
He does.
Like, that's the thing is, like, you sure. I bet, like, 33 rolls around, as you probably know. That's when you start getting over the hill.
Yeah. Are you kidding me? Absolutely.
So, he's still got a few more good years left, but, I mean, there's just no way this ends well, right?
I wouldn't think so, no.
Name one other... Okay, I guess you can probably.
I mean, he's played for the Raiders for what, 7 seasons now, 6 seasons, 7 seasons. I mean, yeah, I don't see this ending well.
No, well, why are they?
Plus,
I mean, they're literally.
Are they trying to
like,
build their franchise around him still? Because he's too old for that. He's obviously a fantastic player, and he still looks great, like you said. Mm-hmm. But it feels like kind of a Micah Parsons type situation.
Right. Well, he's in his prime. I would say his prime was probably last year. This year, he kind of took a little dip. He still looks really, really good, but it's not going to get better, right? And the way that you build around a guy is that it takes a few years, right? So you're looking 2-3 years into the future. Max Crosby's not going to be good anymore. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
I just don't see it. And look, there's been so many rumors floating around Max Crosby and where he's going to go, but to have a disagreement and to leave the facility, that might be the last time that he ever walks in there, except for maybe to clean his locker out.
Could be.
Right?
I don't think it's him cleaning out his own locker. If that happens, he's sending somebody, right?
That's one of fair. His people. But Max,
on the bright side,
you're more than welcome to come to the Chiefs.
For the Raiders, on the bright side, they're in a good spot because they did lose to the New York Football Giants, and now they've got the number 1 pick in the NFL draft.
Do they?
Chiefs are somewhere between 8 and 13, by the way.
Yes. Do the Raiders take Fernando Mendoza number 1 overall? Is that their biggest need? Quarterback?
I was
probably
surprised when I saw maybe just because there's a lot of Fernando Mendoza hate on social media, and I've bought into that a little bit. I was kind of surprised that he's the number 1 because, man, it's a lot of dump offs. It's a lot of dump offs from everything I've seen. But he is. I could see how he is like a Jared Goff type guy. He makes safe decisions, but he makes the throws.
So you're a Diego Pavia guy.
No.
What other quarterback is it going to be in this draft class that you want?
I didn't say there was one, but yes, that's probably the pick.
Do you think they're going to go quarterback?
I do. You think they're going to
certainly
ride Geno for a while longer?
Maybe.
I don't think so.
I mean, they have Genty, right? They have good tight ends.
Yeah.
With Brock Bowers, and Michael Myers, or Michael Mayer, excuse me, not Michael Myers, Michael Mayer.
Not Michael Myers.
Probably need some more wide receivers, you would think. O-line is terrible. Their defense is awful, except for Max Crosby.
They've got a lot of needs, but it starts with quarterback.
They need to get, it needs to be quarterback. You would think. I don't know. Look, I'm in on Fernando Mendoza. I think he's going to be a good. I think it's because of name bias. I think you think Indiana is not the team, and you think Fernando Mendoza came over from Cal and he was fine and throws a lot of dump. I think he's going to be.
He's been great. He won the
Heisman. Legit NFL.
We'll see.
Talent. Same with Diego Pavia, even though Diego Pavia is a little bit more of a jerk.
Yeah, and also he's 25.
That's true.
Diego Pavia.
That's true. But quarterbacks can play longer, though. Case of the Mondays for any of the players of the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl drinking game. So apparently there was a drinking game surrounded by the Sheraton Hawaii Bowl.
Because it's on Christmas Eve.
Picture. Yes. So it was on Christmas Eve.
It's like the only thing going on Christmas Eve.
Correct. So they put out some guy tweeted this out. He said, "Hey, here's a Sheraton Hawaii Bowl drinking game." So essentially, there was a lot of different things. I'll read them off to you. So take a sip for every time Tosh is mentioned. Take a sip for every time Ron Rivera is mentioned. JKS's high school run and shoot, which is, I guess, what Hawaii really likes to do. Every JDJ, DeJesus, Jacob
former
DeJesus.
UNLV legend.
Yeah, that's right. Is this redacted? I don't remember who they're talking about. Oh, they're Fernando Mendoza is who they were talking about.
Yeah.
It says Calgoritham meme shown, Kaloha mentioned, Game Day 2024 mentioned. It says finish half your drink every time they say Rolo and Chang played in the same team. Otto and Go mentioned finish your drink. Rex Volcano tweet shown. So there's a bunch of different rules for this drinking game. Really fun. I did watch this game, but I did not play the drinking game. I had a close eye on it.
Yeah.
Because Max Brown, former USC legend, by the way, he was like a 5-star recruit, went to USC, didn't do a damn thing. I think he transferred to Pitt and played a little bit over there. He is now doing color commentary for ESPN. And he found this on Twitter. And
I would do the same thing.
He put this on his Instagram story and said, "Uh-oh, you guys are in trouble." I kept an eye on it because we were doing some Christmas festivities during it, but I kept an eye on it, and I heard him say "run and shoot" probably 8 times.
Yeah.
So he knew.
Oh, yeah.
He knew what he was doing. Again,
it's scripted just like the NFL.
Right,
Scripted,
exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't keep track, but Max Brown was fully aware of this. And he knew what he was doing. He kept on saying run and shoot. I swear. Again, I wasn't fully paying attention. I'm pretty sure I heard run and shoot probably 8 times.
You guys are in trouble.
I know. So shout out to that's fun. I like that. He didn't mention, by the way, once. He didn't mention the drinking game once during the broadcast.
Can we?
So that's professionalism.
The Christmas Eve problem in terms of sports.
What's that?
This happened last year too. The only game is the Hawaii Bowl.
Yeah.
It's the only game, and I don't understand why that's the case, because you have NFL who finds a way to have a game now on basically every day.
Yes.
They didn't on Christmas Eve. And instead, you've got the NFL on Christmas Day where there's 3 games, and everybody's all for that, although it does kind of suck because, again, like you had Max Brosmer. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, I think so.
For the Vikings.
That sounds right.
You had him going. I mean, and then even the day after or the Sunday after, it was Tyler Huntley and Malik Willis. And again, that was an entertaining game, so I don't want to say too much. But you have a lot of backup quarterbacks that time of year. I kind of feel bad for the NBA. I'm not an NBA guy, but the NBA
used to be their day.
Yeah, it used to be their day, and it's all second. It's like somebody's got to move to Christmas Eve. Give us something on Christmas Eve just to have it like 11 and 1:30 and 4. And then
I feel like the 26th is there's a lot of bowl games.
26 bowl games come back. College basketball takes off like 4 or 5 days, but yeah, bowl games come back on the 26th, and there's some stuff going on the 23rd as well. And then obviously Christmas Day, I don't think you have any college basketball. You used to have the Diamond Head Classic in Hawaii, but you've got NFL and NBA, and that's just not going to work. They've done it the last 2 years. NFL is trying to take over Christmas Day. Somebody's got to move to Christmas Eve because Christmas Eve is the problem right now. All you have is the Hawaii Bowl, and it's Cal Hawaii, and it was a great game at 7 o'clock. But give us something where a lot of people don't work in the middle of the day. Give us something in the middle of the day.
Pitt and East Carolina played on Christmas Eve. Is that right?
No, Christmas Eve was only.
Oh no, that was the next. That was the day. That was 26th. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
and then same with the Mizzou, Virginia. I think it was also on the 26th
or 27th. Yeah,
or the 27th. One of the two.
It was only Cal Hawaii.
Yeah, college football take over Christmas Eve. Why not?
Yeah,
right?
College football or if it has to be one of the pro leagues. If we're saying college football isn't a pro league, then NFL maybe needs to take a step back and say, hey, let's do this. But it's all about money. If NBA is still making as much money as they did, but if you're the NBA at this point and if you can't compete with the NFL, just go to Christmas Eve. There's nothing else going on.
Yeah, but if the NBA gets squeezed out of Christmas Day, do you think that's them conceding to the NFL?
Yeah, but it all comes down to money. If the money's not there, I can't imagine the money's as good for the NBA the past couple of years now that the NFL is part of it.
Christmas Day is, at least in the past, that was like the only time that I would ever watch regular season NBA games. Was Christmas Day.
Right.
So like, oh, yeah, I want to see LeBron take on Kevin Durant in a T-shirt.
But now you
for
don't,
some reason.
It's football.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Or in your
now,
case, Stranger Things.
Yeah, Stranger Things. That's right. So yeah, no, the NBA, I do feel a little bad for them. They should just take over. Either
whoever
the NBA
it is,
or college football needs to take over.
Whoever it is,
Christmas
somebody
Eve,
needs to take over
nothing going on
because a lot of people aren't working.
Yeah,
and it's like we're in the
and
middle
they're
of
waiting to do their Christmas stuff the next day.
Yeah,
and so Christmas
and you're
Eve,
busy during.
You're
Christmas
just sitting
Day.
around watching Storage Wars.
Yeah, and I'm all for 24 hours of a Christmas Story or Storage Wars, like you said. but yeah, you got to get some sports on there. All right, a couple more here. The New York Football Jets. Tell us about that.
So the New York Football Jets. The New York Jets are on this Case of the Mondays. Not for what you think. Yes, they're bad. But so the New York Jets, apparently there was this lady by the name of Ashley Gervasi. They saw her in the parking lot kicking field goals, and she was doing really well. And so a New York Jets official came over to her and they said, hey, we have this kicking challenge for $100,000. We would love for you to come out and try to kick this field goal for $100,000. She said, absolutely, right? Her family apparently had season ticket holders. They were season ticket holders forever, since like the Shea Stadium days, right? Her father had just died the year before to esophagus cancer. She came out and said if she won this, she would use a portion of it to put down on her first house that she was ever going to buy, and then donate the rest to the Cancer Foundation for the cancer that killed her father. Well, then the New York Jets, they found out that she played college soccer, and they uninvited her. They said, just kidding. You're actually good at kicking.
So they do a background check on her, so she didn't get to do it.
Which, by the way, she was up front with them about this too. She said, yeah, I played college soccer. And they said, that's fine, cool, come on and try out. So she went through all the stuff, and they said, actually, just kidding, since you played college soccer, you can't kick this field goal. And the Jets, they got under a lot of scrutiny for this, and so the Jets said, you know what, we're going to make this right. We'll give you a custom jersey and a $100 gift card.
Brutal.
And then they got more scrutiny.
I'm sure.
And so the Jets go, all right, fine. We'll let her come and kick. So finally, after public shaming. So
happy ending.
You would think it all ends happy, but they did allow her to kick the field goal, and she missed. I know.
So now she doesn't even get the gift card of $100.
No, she doesn't get the jersey. She doesn't get the gift card. It's really unfortunate. But New York Jets, you're bad. You're bad at football.
Do we know
bad at running a franchise.
Do we know how close she was?
I just saw the video of her kicking. I didn't see the ball flying.
This entire story is just indicative of the New York Jets and being a New York Jets fan.
Absolutely.
JETS, just in the season.
Just in the season.
NCAA. This has been all over my timeline, Dan, with the G League, and this is a mess right now.
It is. The NCAA is on. They are on the case of the Mondays. So 7-foot center James Nagy, who was the number 31 overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft, has now committed to Baylor. This man was drafted 2 years ago.
Eligible immediately.
And he was granted 4 years of eligibility. For Baylor, he can come in at the semester.
Such a problem, man. I mean, you got to embrace it as a coach, I guess.
So how is this? Because I understand that guys, they're finding loopholes just by petitioning for waivers, and the NCAA is just handing out waivers left and right for some of these kids, right? Because he technically never played in the G League and he never played in an NBA game, but he did play in the Summer League. And then I think he might have bounced around overseas for a little bit. And I know there's a lot of overseas pro ball guys who are coming back. I know Dayton got one, Illinois got one. But this is becoming a problem because they're just petitioning for a waiver from the NCAA saying, hey, I never played college ball. And NCAA is like, fine, I guess. Because they're going to make more money with those NIL deals than they are going to be playing overseas or in the G League or Summer League or whatever, right? So this is bad. But I do want to say, welcome back, Billy Preston.
There's just a number of players, right?
Just a question. If Billy Preston, would you – I mean, that would be fun, right? That actually might put an end to all this.
So he was 18 years old in 2017.
17?
20
Yes.
I mean, Henry Greenstein's favorite thing of all time is the basketball tournament, and we've seen
TBC? That's right.
Seen Billy play there.
It's pretty good.
So what, he'd be 28 or something now?
I think so.
27, 28?
I'm trying to think. I don't know. That's, I saw Derek Johnson tweet this out. He said, if this is the game, then if that's the game, then play the game. Billy Preston technically could potentially come back. I don't think obviously that's obviously like the biggest stretch imaginable, but I absolutely hate this because guys are just signing petitions. But the reason the NCAA is on this is for this as well, but also because there is a Division III cross-country runner at Augsburg University named Mohammed Bhatti. Mohammed Bhatti, fascinating story. So this man, he's one of the best D3 runners. He has like a top 5 time in the marathon in Division III history. Really impressive, really good runner. He works a graveyard shift at an assisted living facility from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. 3 to 4 times a week, right? Then, right after his 7 a.m., his 11 to 7 shift ends, he goes and he runs 10 miles. Then after that, he goes to nursing school full-time. Then after that, He runs 10 more miles in practice. And then after that, he goes back to work at the assisted living facility from 11 p.m. So he said he takes little cat naps because he has days off. He's not working 11 to 7 days a week.
Yeah, I don't trust that he's sleeping through those other days, though.
No, right. I mean, he's got to be doing stuff like homework, and he's full-time working and, full-time nursing student, plus he's doing cross-country, plus he's one of the best cross-country runners in all of Division III history. So he was on the verge of dropping out of school because of this fact that, hey, it's tough, right? The schedule's tough. He's not sleeping. He's getting behind on student loans because he has to pay all of his student loans. He was on the verge of dropping out. The community around him figured this out, that he couldn't afford all this. So they raised $6,000 to pay for his tuition. And the NCAA came in and said, you're ineligible. Because that money was not.
Community raised the money.
Community raised the money. All donations to help this kid stay in school. And the NCAA said, since that $6,000 was not tied to NIL, you're ineligible. And so we're going to ruin your life and take away your eligibility for you to run in cross country. But they're allowing professional athletes to come back and play basketball for millions of dollars.
NCAA, we got to get that fixed, man.
Got to get it fixed, man.
Got to get that fixed.
Let Muhammad Body run.
I thought you were going to say cook.
Or cook.
Yeah.
Either one.
It also doesn't look like he eats either.
I know. Dude, the kid is, it's just an amazing story, and the NCAA comes in and screws it all up. And then on the flip side of it, you literally have bidding wars for millions of dollars for players in Division I schools for football and basketball, and guys who are playing pro ball who are drafted in the NBA who come back. It's just, the whole thing is a disaster. Just NCAA needs to make this right.
Yeah. Case of the Mondays for today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. After this, we're going to talk a little KU football, some grades for the running back room in 2025. We're going to close out with some Monday Night Football game picks and remind you what else is going on in the world of KU athletics a little bit later this week on Rock Chalk Sports, KansasNation.com, ESPN, Kansas City. Sean and Dan back for Rock Chalk Sports. Going to give a positional group breakdown of the Kansas running backs. But first, Dan, tell us about Game Day Men's Health Lawrence.
Yeah, I want to talk to all the guys out there, who are you struggling with energy to go to work or go to the gym or whatever it may be? Are you dealing with some kind of, ED or low testosterone or something like that? Go to Game Day Men's Health here in Lawrence. I understand that white coat phobia is real. Nobody likes going to the doctor. Everybody likes pushing it off. Go to Game Day Men's Health. Your first visit is free. They'll take your blood and they'll see, what you can improve on. If it's nothing, then, good for you. And obviously go and live your life. But, if there is something that needs to be taken care of, guys, you need to take care of it, right? You need to live a long, happy life. And Game Day Men's Health is here to help you live that long and healthy life. 50% of men by the age of 40 deal with low testosterone, and 60% of men deal with some form of erectile dysfunction at some point in their lives. They're here to get you back in the game. So go to Game Day Men's Health in Lawrence. Check it out. Plush man cave light setting. They have TVs, they have snacks and drinks, and it's a really cool environment. Friendly front staff, and Mitch Bales and Sam Abrams and everybody over there does a really good job of making you feel comfortable. So check them out. Game Day Men's Health Lawrence. Just Google Game Day Lawrence and it should pop up. So be sure to check them out because they are all they're worried about is making sure that you're the healthiest that you've ever been.
KU football positional group breakdown. Daniel Highshaw and LeSean Williams were the main guys in the backfield for KU. Saw a little bit of Johnny Thompson, a little bit of Harry Stewart as well. Not sure what the future of the latter two will be, but we can tell you that out of eligibility are Highshaw and Williams. We'll start with Daniel Highshaw, Dan, and let you give a grade. Of course, Highshaw struggled with health the majority of his career, which was really unfortunate because we saw some major highlights from Deuce. But in his final season, 124 carries, 587 yards, averaged 4.7 yards per carry. He had 5 touchdowns, also had 6 catches, and strongest performance undoubtedly was the 107 yards on the ground against Utah. Same could be said for Williams. But let's start with Deuce, a guy who is great to talk to and was part of this program. And, the big switch from this program being a bottom feeder to a competitor. Yeah,
and this was his year to really step into those shoes of Devin Neal. Obviously, huge shoes to fill, and dealt with a lot of injury, which is really unfortunate. But Daniel Highshaw, when he's fully healthy, has NFL capabilities. I truly believe that. Wasn't 100% there. all year long, right? 124 carries, 587 yards, 5 touchdowns, like you said, and really just disappointing, not in terms of his product on the field, because I thought the product on the field was really good, but we never really saw him get that big burst that we wanted to see, right? Like we saw in the Duke game in 2022 from Daniel Highshaw. We never really saw him break loose. So really unfortunate for Daniel Highshaw this year. I'm going to give him like a B-. I still loved what I saw out of him.
We got Le'Shawn Williams next. Le'Shawn, 97 carries, 560 yards. He also missed a little bit of time due to injury. Ends up with 7 touchdowns plus an additional 2 touchdowns. Of course, transferred over from Iowa to play his final season here in Lawrence. Again, same deal with having to fill the shoes of Devin Neal. But we finally saw the 1-2 punch of Highshaw and Williams against Utah. Unfortunately, it didn't end up in a KU victory.
Yeah, and look, I thought Le'Shawn Williams exceeded my expectations for sure. I thought he was going to be, getting 30% of the carries. All of a sudden, we saw him splitting them essentially 50-50, right? 97 carries, 560, right? So only a couple 20 yards-ish, 27 yards, I believe, underneath what Daniel Highshaw was at. Also 2 more touchdowns on the year than Daniel Highshaw. Give me an A for Le'Shawn Williams. I thought he had an excellent year in his last year. Certainly going to catch the attention of some professional folks.
And who else would you like to highlight? Of course, we've got Harry Stewart. Saw him in 5 games this season. He scored his first collegiate touchdown, and Johnny Thompson as well saw some run.
Yeah, look, Harry Stewart, I thought was really going to be that number 1 guy for next year, and obviously entering into the transfer portal, not great for Kansas fans. Allegedly entering into the transfer portal. I thought him and Johnny Thompson were going to be that 1-2 punch. So really unfortunate because we've heard so many great things about those guys. But look, Kansas, as of right now, of the running backs that we really saw a lot of this year, Justin Thurman, who had a couple of carries in that Wagner game, looked really good. He had a long 50-some plus yarder that was called back on a holding call, and then right after that had a 33-yard carry for Justin Thurman. So I'm really high on him. Kevin Flaherty talked about it today. I'm going to continue to say this. Justin Thurman is going to be the number 1 running back for next year. So overall, for the running backs, I'm going to give them a total grade of a B- just because of the fact that I wanted to see probably more out of them, especially with that 1-2 punch. I thought Daniel Highshaw, just if they were healthy, it probably would have been an A, but it's so hard to fill those shoes of Devin Neal, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, Justin Thurman, hopefully he does become that number 1 guy, but I think it would be safe to say Kansas is going to get a couple guys from the portal,
100%.
particularly if these guys who say they're going to go to the portal actually do go. So we'll see how that happens and how it shakes out. We'll have a better, of course, even next week, we'll have a better idea of what it's going to look like in regards to the transfer portal, all these positions. But that's our running back position breakdown from 2025. After this, some Monday Night Football game picks and some KU updates as we transition to 2026 very shortly. Rock Chalk Sports, KansasNation.com, and ESPN Kansas City. Rock Chalk Sports, make sure you follow us on all your socials, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You can find us on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Really appreciate all the engagement, all the interaction, and yeah, make sure hit up Facebook because we've got a lot of followers the past couple weeks. Dan live tweets, or I guess in Facebook terms you would say
posts,
live posts,
status
all sorts
update.
of video clips, all sorts of updates from the games, and we'll be out there, of course, next time KU's at home, not until January 7th, but KU's next home game is going to be, next game rather, is going to be on the road January 3rd. That's Saturday against UCF, 1 o'clock tip. Crimson and Blue Show coverage will start at 11:30 on Sports Radio 810 WHB. The Kansas women are in action on New Year's Day at Allen Fieldhouse against West Virginia. Of course, the KU women lost at the buzzer to a top 10 team in Iowa State in Ames. So they're 0-1 in Big 12 play, but a lot to be excited about. Hopefully they get a little bit healthier as well, get Jalea Davis, Reagan Williams back as soon as possible. So those games are coming up here very shortly. Tonight, Monday Night Football, Dan, it's Rams and Falcons, which I guess a little bit of the allure is taken off of this, given the fact that the Niners won last night and the Rams are kind of locked into a wild card. But still, seeding's important.
Yeah, I think so. And, the Rams have been really good this year. I mean, I'm a big fan of what Sean McVay is doing over there. Matt Stafford is still looking good. You know what I mean? Puka Nacua has been incredible, especially down this last stretch. It's in Atlanta, could be a little tricky. And look, they have a $180 million quarterback starting for them right now with Kirk Cousins, as Michael Penix Jr. is Still out, unfortunate for him. As of right now, the line is Rams -7. It's at -120. I do like the Rams in this game. Look, the Falcons, they've done a really good job in terms of keeping up kind of with the Joneses in terms of what has happened with them, with a lot of injuries happening, especially with their starting quarterback. You know, Drake London has dealt with injury here and there throughout the year. Kyle Pitts has not been able to really get anything, which, by the way, Kyle Pitts is a name being floated around for the Kansas City Chiefs to potentially trade for.
Yeah, he's turned it on a little bit the past couple of weeks.
He's been okay, yes. But I still like the Rams in this game. -7 feels like a lot, especially when you're on the road. But I think the Rams are playing for quite a bit in this game. So give me the Rams -7. Over under 48.5. I like the over in this game. It's at -115 right now, so the public likes it a little bit too. But I think a lot of points are going to be scored in this game. I think the Rams can kind of pick apart that Atlanta Falcons defense, and then I think Kirk Cousins is really going to try to prove to a lot of people that he's still got some juice left in the tank. So expect Drake London to have some play. Bijan Robinson's going to be in this game, and he could get some touchdowns as well. I like the over 48.5.
I think I like the home dog getting 7. If it were 6, maybe I would say the Rams,
Sure.
But I like the 7. You still have a
7's a push. So if they win by touchdown, it's a push.
Falcons
so
are relatively healthy. You've still got London and Pitts and Bijan Robinson. But you know me, I'm looking at those touchdown scores, and obviously I'm going to look at Bijan Robinson -130. He seems to always get in. You know who's been sneaky kind of coming alive for the Rams? Blake Corum.
Yeah.
Had a very quiet rookie season, the pride of Michigan, but he's +160
They get that
to
1-2
score.
punch with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. It's not bad.
Kyron -105. And then I mean, whatever Puka's over-under is and catching the football, you got to hit that over, right? He's been crazy. But 110 plus for Puka is -106. Might as well take that, right? Hey, that's going to do it for Rock Chalk Sports here today. Thanks for tuning in. Big shout out to Elijah Schmidt running the operations today. For Dan Corright, I'm Sean Kellerman saying we'll catch you tomorrow. We have shows tomorrow and Wednesday this week on Rock Chalk Sports. KansasNation.com and ESPN Kansas.